I'm going to show you the boost leak test results of a BMW with a single turbo setup. It's leaking some out of this max solenoid, but you can see it's leaking where I did the T51R mod. However, those are before boost pressure, so that's not going to matter. But I would like to just go ahead and seal that up, so I'll probably just go ahead and put some JB weld on that. You can see, so back here, what I'm looking for is I'm trying to make sure none of the bolts were leaking around there. So before I put this together, I put silicone on all the bolts, and I'm happy that none of these are leaking at all. I also put an O-ring in between the compressor housing and this seal plate here, and there's an O-ring in between the bearing housing and this seal plate, which normally they come with that one, they don't come with this one, but I made a special plate that uses an O-ring there. This thing leaks because probably because it has to have power for it to close. So what I'm looking for, all my connections, I didn't find any leaks here. Also, this connection where I'm tied into the solenoid, down here, that connection. You see, you can't see a clamp on there because it's lower than that. The other thing I pay attention to is how long it will hold pressure. So I'll demonstrate that real quick. We'll run it up to 10. And I'll hold over top of that solenoid. Usually it should hold for about 45 seconds from like 30 psi until it reaches 0. See how well it's holding? And where it leaks out is basically it leaks out from the engine valves to the exhaust system to the cylinders, or it could leak down through the cylinders up through the crankcase. A little bit anyway. It shouldn't leak a whole lot there. So it's at 2 psi right now. I just let it off that solenoid. And I'll show you what we're looking for underneath. That connection, the top connection, any of the couplers that could be damaged. I put T-bolts on all these. Speed Tech, when they give you the kit, that pipe they have that comes off the turbo, there's just worm clamps on there. I recommend replacing those with T-bolt clamps. That's a 2.5 inch connection. So you'll need 2.5 inch clamps for that, T-bolts. And all this stuff was on my car when I bought it, so I just left all that. But what you need to look out for is, see, this fan right here was rubbing up against my intercooler pipe. It could rub a hole in there very easily. So I just went ahead and hacked that off. Plus, a lot of it got ripped off recently when I slipped on some ice and crashed into a hill. And there's a connection there. Let's look up top. So we're looking at this connection, that one. I was checking the actual blow-off valve, but you gotta be careful not to get water in there. I actually did put an O-ring on the blow-off valve. I think it came with one, but it was leaking or something, and I replaced it with one that fit on there correctly. This is where I deleted one of my blow-off valves, so it's wise to check that. There's a right there, a little connection that you can put a boost gauge, connect a boost gauge to, or do meth injection. That needs to be checked to make sure that's not leaking. Each of these connections here and here, and to make sure that coupler doesn't have a hole in it. The map sensor that reads the airflow, it's on the back side of this. They have an O-ring on them, so it's wise to check that. I think there's a seal in between here. So the way I check all these is I just spray soapy water on everything, and you have 6 gaskets in between, or a gasket in between each cylinder. They're actually like an O-ring rubber seal between each cylinder all the way down, and you got that connection there. So as long as none of those are leaking, then it should run very well. Here I'll demonstrate spraying the soapy water on and checking those for leaks. It did leak at this tester as well, so that can throw you off a little bit if you're not paying attention. See, right there. And that's not a big deal. See how bad it leaks at the connections there. That one, I guess, doesn't leak as bad. But you can see what you're checking for at least. I'm going to tear all this back apart. We're going to finish this car up and see how it runs.